Hello, everyone. Welcome to our January meeting. This is the Grand River Woodturners Guild, located in beautiful Grand Rapids, Michigan. Um, um, let's see. Can you spotlight me there, Bruce? Thank you. Um, it's a snowy day here in Grand Rapids, 7 degrees. This is where normally we would be meeting downtown, but we are online for the next couple months, at least because of the latest pandemic and the big surge in the Michigan area. Um, but we're going to continue on as we've been doing for the last year and a half, almost 2 years now. Um, we do have right now. It's a new year. Our memberships. A lot of people have already renewed, but if you haven't renewed, you probably if you were a member, you're getting our newsletter. You get links to where you can go and renew your membership. It's $35. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're thinking, hey, this looks like a pretty cool group. Maybe I want to get involved with these guys. You can send me an email there at my email address or our email address, and we will and request that you'd like to become a member of our group, and we will send you the information needed. It's $35 for the year, which is pretty darn reasonable. We we typically have 3 to 4 professional woodturners a year, which is included for your $35. Today we have a special guest woodturner, Walt Wager from North Florida Woodturners, doing some demonstration for us. So we have a demonstration every month. We have a really good show and tell segment. We have a lot of participation online. So if you want to join, send us an email, and we will send you the information needed to join our group. Let's see, going on down the list here, our supply store is open for supplies. The address is in our newsletter where you can go and buy supplies. Don't order supplies unless you can come and pick them up at our facility in Grand Rapids. So yeah, if you're in Florida or New York or somewhere else, you probably don't want to order anything unless you plan to visit Grand Rapids next weekend. Because everything you ordered this week you can pick up next Saturday at the Jam, which is where we meet from 9 to 9:30. I don't know if we mentioned that at our last members meeting, but I'm guessing that's correct, right, Steve? Steve Payne?
Yes, that's correct. And they must be wearing a mask. Several people have stopped doing that.
Okay, yeah. All the protocol for COVID. Wear a mask and social distance. So. And then if you're down there, if you might want to check out and see if Tony's around, and maybe pick up some wood while you're there from Tony. Throw him a bone. He's been complaining that we're not around, so he's missing us. So hopefully in another couple months we'll be back down there, maybe in spring, and buy some wood from him. Let's see. Going through our demonstrations. Next month we got Neil Brand from Texas. He's going to be doing a pencil box. It's a pencil box that you can put your pencil in. So a pencil box. And then March we got Ron Campbell lined up, AZ Carbide. He's going to do show some tools, some of the products he has and how to use them and the great things that they do. Today we are going to have, and also in our store, I forgot to mention, in our store we've put in a couple of metal legs it looked like they're from a conveyor belt system. So there's a pair of them for 25 bucks. They're in the store now. So if you're interested in those, then shop the store and purchase them babies. We're going to have one special raffle today for show and tell, people who participate in show and tell and the President's Challenge. So we'll give away a Woodcraft, I think a $10 gift certificate. I think that's what we've got now, right? Ken, are you there? I seen you log in. So anyways, that's what I'm pretty sure we have is $10 gift certificates to Woodcraft. So with that in mind, I think that we'll probably start show and tell unless there's something else I need to mention before we go into it. Any general business that we need to talk about? Nope. Okay. We're going to do show and tell then. I will kick it off with the ones that people have sent to me. If you have show and tell, raise your hand. or send a chat stating you've got show and tell, and we will get you all lined up, and we'll
Is it challenge afterwards or what?
and then we'll do the President's Challenge afterwards. So we'll do show and tell first, and then we'll do the President's Challenge. The President's Challenge was a multi-axis wood turning based on Barbara Dill's demonstration she did for us last month. And she is in the room today, the judge. So she's going to tell everybody what they did wrong. How they could have done it better. I'm joking. We're not going to put her on the spot. We just do a random drawing. So let's start with show and tell. And I'm going to start with the people that I have, and then if you have show and tell, go ahead and raise your hand. And then your multi-axis, save for if you have a multi-axis, save that for the President's Challenge, which we will do next. Okay? So show and tell. This is from Alfred, and he just logged back in. So Alfred,
Yeah,
are you here? Okay, tell us about your pieces, Alfred. New
yeah.
member.
I got a problem with the video right now. I did something and I messed it up, I guess. I know I have the audio, but I don't have the video. Um, the Can you come back to me later? Maybe I can get the video going.
Well, right now your picture's on anyways, and
Okay. Yeah,
so
these
you
are
can,
some ornaments I did recent, for Christmas. Um, the one on the right there has a captive ring in it, and there are different styles that I do. The cube with the red in it, it's an interesting piece. I saw that on AAW magazine way back, and the way it's made, the cube has to be a perfect cube, and when you do those coves, the holes happen when you go from one cove to the other one. It's the only thing with this is everything has to be exact. Your dimensions, the diameter of the cove and the depth has to be exact. So you either make a template or kind of eye it. So when you do one cove and you turn it 90 degrees, you're actually going to form one of the holes because part of the circumference is lower than the rest, and as you're doing the cove, it actually exposes that hole, and you keep going around like that until you go through the all 6 different faces.
cool.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I did some
Yep.
coloring in there, and I did some pyrography on it, and yeah, that's one of them.
Very, very nice.
Cool.
That'd be a nice demonstration next November.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. That's wonderful. And he is
Yeah.
a new member. We're so glad that you participated on your first member or your first meeting with us.
Oh, thanks you for having me.
Okay. Next up, if I get my thing to work here, come on. Next up, I got John Behrens. John, are you in the room? I saw you log in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Tell
Hi.
us about your piece, John.
Okay, this is from a piece of black walnut that I had, and it had a bunch of branches sticking out of it, and it just kind of looked interesting, and so I decided to make like a tall vase type vessel out of it. And as I was turning it, I saw this feature. You can see the little red line at the bottom. It looked kind of like a Dr. Seuss character to me, like a Cyclops character. So that's the backside, so you can see where the other branches and things were. So when I did it, I thought this is really neat, and I finished it, and I thought, and I've never done this kind of stuff. Usually, I just turn and I just put a clear finish of some kind on, and adding, this is scarlet milk paint that I put on the inside. Kind of scared me because I was worried I'd ruin it. And but it turned out pretty cool, and actually has a LED light puck in there that it lights it up and it makes that mouth glow, and that's just a natural crack where the knot in the wood there showed through. I think I could share a close-up of that if you can't see it, but it's let me see if I can do that. how do I do that? I've got it on my share screen. Oh, here we go. So there's a close-up of that area, and you can kind of see what I was, and I can't get that out of my head, you know. So anyway, I named this was a gift for my daughter for Christmas because she was a big Dr. Seuss fan, and so I named it Ted Geiselklops. And,
It kind of looks like the Grinch, you know, with his big belly.
yeah, I've heard that too, but
Yeah.
but the eyeball actually to me is right above what would be the mouth, that red mouth. Right in the center is like an eyeball, and I don't know, it just hit me that way, and I can't unsee it now.
Okay. Very cool. Very
Thank you.
cool. Yep. You need to unshare your screen there if you
How
can.
do I do that now?
Hang on, let me see if I can do it.
Should be able to.
Yeah, I'm trying. First time I've actually. Oh, here it is. There you go.
Okay. Let's see. So next up here, there's the backside, and now this is Todd Sipple. Todd, I seen you come in. Tell us
Yeah,
about your
this
piece.
it's just a bowl from a sassafras branch that had fallen in the back of the yard, and I had never made a bowl before. So I kind of liked the outside, but the inside was very much like a washboard. So I made a lid for it so nobody would look in as often.
Yeah. I would call it a hollow form
Yes, there you go.
with the top
So,
on it. Yeah. Very nice.
Never
And the
tried
bark
that
on the
before.
and the bark on front. Yep.
Yeah.
Something right up my alley. So very nice. Yeah. Let's see. And this is another shot of it. Okay.
Correct.
Yep. Very good. All right. This is Tom Penninga. Tom, I've seen you log in.
Yeah,
Tell us about your gnomes.
well, I made them for my nieces and nephews' kids, and it turned out to be more work than I thought, but they're kind of a puzzle. You have to take the nose out, and then you can unthread the top, and then I put a dollar coin in each one. And some of them figured it out, and some of them needed a little help, but it was that's real fur too. My sister had some fur from an old fur coat. So anyway, they turned out really cute. They're Christmas tree ornaments when you get the dollar out of it.
So they're little puzzle boxes.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I threaded them and then I drilled the hole for the nose. So you have to take the nose out before it'll unthread.
Okay. That's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Very nice. Let's see. And then this is Tom Warda. Tom Wyorda? Wiarda. Tom, tell us about your wonderful chair here.
Well, it's not your normal show and tell piece, but it does involve quite a bit of turning. It's a birdcage Windsor settee. It's got actually 15 of the pieces are turned and 19 of the pieces are steam bent. It's made out of ash, all split from a log, except for the seat, which is white pine. And it's all done pretty much with hand tools.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Really nice. What kind of finishes on that, Tom?
It's got milk paint with a oil varnish top coat on it,
Uh-huh.
and then just accent paint.
Yeah.
That's super. Really.
That's really
fun.
cool. Yeah. It looks like
So
an
the
antique.
the bent pieces are turned and then you bent them? Is that true?
Yes, a couple of them. The legs and the stretchers are all turned. The back posts are the part that's turned, and then the two larger back posts are turned and bent. And then all the spindles are shaved by hand and then steam bent, shaved with spoke shave and draw knife.
And I missed it. What's the wood on that?
It's ash.
It's ash.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
all from a log.
Really nice.
Yeah.
I'll put in an order.
Yeah. Yeah, that is really cool.
A lot of work.
So, yeah, it
those
looks
pieces.
like a lot of work.
A lot of pieces.
So, and I believe that's the end. Okay, that's the end of show and tell. So now, or not show and tell, but the ones I have here. Who do we have here? Let's do Ruby. Let's see.
Okay.
You're gonna do the spotlight?
I'll do the spotlight. I got her.
Got it.
Okay, I had a piece of oak plank in the garage, so I took it out and I made a platter. And that was the piece that ended up. I couldn't put maple leaves around it being oak, so I went with oak leaves with a fall color arrangement and a few acorns.
Nice.
Very nice.
And it's about just over 14 inches in diameter. And I'm at my neighbor's kitten sitting, and on their kitchen table just happens to be a bowl I made for them about 20 years ago.
Okay. Very nice.
And I was playing with some spheres and decorating them at the time. So they're a little crude.
They look cool.
How did you put the flowers on the platter?
With acrylic paint. If I redid it, I'd use oil paint. My acrylics only have a 2-year lifespan, and mine were at the end of their lifespan, to say the least.
Is that airbrush with
No,
acrylic, or do you even do that?
just a hand brush.
Okay.
It's not that difficult, believe me.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
I could show you how to do it, and you'd be amazed how quickly you'd learn.
You're on.
There's
Yeah.
Sounds like a
one
demonstration.
Sounds like
when I taught school, I always said to the kids, there's nothing you can't do, only things you don't know how to do.
Okay.
So
Very
if you
nice.
want to learn how to do something, you find somebody to teach you.
So, Ruby, do you put finish over the painting, or is it just the paint on top?
Well, I painted the black acrylic first, then I painted with acrylic the leaves and the acorns. Then I sprayed it with an acrylic sanding sealer.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, if you want to put polyurethane, lacquer, whatever you want over top, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, it's very nice. I like it.
Very nice. Yeah. Nice job.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, we have David Bunge. Let me put him on. There you are, Dave. What do you got?
All right, I've got a fairly simple 14-inch maple bowl that's given me a lot of
What does it sound?
Yeah.
It was the grain on the wood. And it cuts the curl and normal just point. But it's also got, not sure if you can see it, but lots of brown specks in it, which look almost like bark inclusion. And they're all right on the growth rate line. So that really made a pretty nice overall appearance to it. I'd say one challenge, along with the bark inclusion, came a bit of a ring shake problem, which I think I have stabilized with CA glue and filled in with some.
We heard you better, Dave, when you were leaning back. Hey, lean
What's
back
that?
and talk. Lean back and talk. We can hear you when you're back there. Now talk.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, when you're
so
leaning forward, we can't hear you.
all right. So the point I was saying before was it's got almost like bark inclusions on the growth ring lines, which gives it an interesting look. And along with that came some ring shape, which I hope I've got stabilized and filled in with some sawdust and a little bit of crack there was.
Cool. Very cool.
That's it for me.
Is that flat bottom? Rounded bottom?
Pretty close. It's got a little bit of curve to it, but not much.
Okay.
And then,
Very nice.
yeah.
Oh, I see. You did put a ring on it.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Really cool. Next up, we got Dave Curley. What do you got, Dave?
Have something to share, and now that you've highlighted me, the share button is eluding me.
You want me to unhighlight you? I can do
maybe for a second, yeah. And I'm going to share some images anyway. That's weird. Where is
It
it?
should come back now.
Okay, here we go.
Speak, Dave.
You
I
can you
think
hear me?
Yep. As soon as he shares, it'll take over. It'll self spotlight, I think.
Okay. Are you? What are we seeing? We're seeing it.
No, I'm not seeing it yet. We see you, and me.
All right. It should be sharing now.
There you go.
Now it's, yeah.
Okay, so I did share this with the West Michigan group last week. These are I kind of call these fancy firewood. So I'm basically just taking some pieces of firewood off the firewood pile and making little weed pots out of them. And after I did a few of these, I thought, well, why don't I try to do something where I'm taking 4 of them from the same log and making them so that once they're finished, they can just fit right back into the same group.
Nice.
So that's, I think, no, there's a last shot there. So on this one, I actually didn't think too much about the vertical height of the pieces. And I've started one most recently where I'm actually registering so that when they do fit back together and sit on the table, that they do nest together right where they came from. There should be one more picture of those. So these are elm. The previous ones, the ones in the beginning were ash, and some were spalted ash. And generally, I would just use either a shellac or a poly white mixture with linseed oil and thinner, kind of to do that. And then the rest of it is for the president's challenge. So I'll stop sharing.
Okay. All right. Very, very cool. Very, very neat idea. I like it. I might try one of those myself. So anybody else with show and tell? Nobody else has show and tell?
Doug, I do.
Okay, Ron. Keep talking, Ron, so I can highlight you.
Find me now.
There you go.
All right. Let's do a screen share here. I'm going to show you the piece. This is the piece I showed the West Michigan group the other day or last week. And it's sandblasted, it's white oak, got cherry stain on it. And I've often been asked, how sturdy are they? How well do they hold up? Well, I'm about to show you. I dropped that almost 2 inches and fractured it out. God, I was sick. I took it back out to the barn because the very bottom, there wasn't enough stain on it. Oh, I looked at it as a design opportunity. Let me move this over here. And that's the piece today.
Hey, that works.
Yeah, good salvage job.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't even sure, as thin and fragile as the piece is, I really wasn't sure, can I carve this piece even? And yeah, I was able to carve it. I'm not real happy with this yet. I'll probably go back in and change some of that. But I was thankful to save the piece. I probably have 4 hours in this piece before it broke. So you can see that, yeah, it was a problem. Now, the other piece you just saw, I didn't intend to show it, but that's a 8 inches wide, 7 inches tall, again, white oak, bleached, sandblasted. Ooh, I got 9 hours of sandblasting in. And yeah, it's a long time to stand over the blaster. It wasn't all done in one day. So I probably have a couple more hours of sandblasting. That's
That
it,
one,
Doug.
Ron, that you had with the, I really like the lighting you had on that one that you redid. That the photograph itself is a piece of art.
Oh, well, you know what, Steve, I've done photography my whole life. And I really started now playing more with lighting. And something I learned years ago at the retreat, Lindsay Eisenhart was out, and she's a curator at Newaygo County Council of the Arts. And she said, the first thing you all have to remember in wood turning, you are not judged on the form and shape as much as you are the photograph.
Mhm.
So learn to take good photographs. That probably should be part of the retreat.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron,
Yeah.
did you sandblast from the inside too, or did you only do it from the outside?
Only from the outside, Alfred. The gun I'm using is too large. The piece that broke is about a 4-incher, 4x4. There's no way to get in there. Now, I'm working with a company out in Idaho. They have a smaller gun. I mean, it's really hand size. I'm waiting to hear back from them. And I would probably then start to sandblast from the inside, because you're not going to be able to see how far in you're going. So then you reverse it, start on the outside, and you know how deep you're going.
Yeah, it might make it a bit quicker process too if you're doing it from both sides instead of, you know, wanting to go all the way through from the outside.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll play with it. This is a lot of experimentation. I have a number of pieces that are either cracked or just I couldn't get through. The big piece I just showed you, the bleach piece, I've only got a few places I can go through. You really need to be thin and consistent wall thickness.
Yeah, and I understand that is, you know, dry wood, right? It's otherwise it's you know, the when you try to sandblast it, it's gonna stick to the BBs and it's not gonna cut very well.
My first blastings are with crushed glass, and they're done green.
Really?
Because if you angle it right, it just deflects out. And I try to angle all of my blasting so that you're not throwing it straight into the piece. So you take it at an angle and it kind of digs it out. And then you do it at both angles.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Ron, somebody wants to know if you only use white oak when you do that.
So far, I've got a supplier north of me, and they have red oak. I need to go up there and pick up some red oak and try that. This started with a tree that was down across the driveway. So I saved a bunch of it and thought I'd experiment with it. So I'll probably head up north in a couple of weeks and pick up some red oak.
Okay.
Ron, Progressive Surface on Patterson makes custom sandblasting equipment, and they make like 90-degree nozzles and 45-degree nozzles.
What was the name of that again?
Progressive Surface. Used to be Progressive Blasting Systems.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, so is there anybody else with show and tell? Then if that's the case, we're going to move on to our President's Challenge, which is a multi-axis wood turning. Once again, we'll start with what I have here from people who've sent me stuff. And this is from Aaron Day, either Aaron or Elizabeth Day. I don't know which one made this. Aaron, I see.
That's mine, Doug.
Tell us about your piece, Elizabeth.
Well, I spent a lot of the month either sick or busy, so unfortunately I didn't have enough time to practice to do anything too complicated. So what I finally decided to do is do a multi-axis candlestick holder where the one axis stayed the same, but I have 320-degree axes on the bottom. So I kept the middle one straight, and then I turned the bottom to flare out a little bit so it has more of a triangular shape on the bottom. And then I turned the top a little rounder just so I could get the hole centered more on the top.
Very nice.
Cool.
Let me go to the next picture here. Okay,
Somebody asked that question last month. What would happen if you have one end in the center and the other end's off? And you did it, and that's really nice looking. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I have this one. I thought we had 5 pieces from you guys, right?
You should. Aaron? You should have. I think Aaron sent in five pictures. One with his smaller cup.
Was
Hey,
it?
Doug, that's actually mine. Alfred?
Okay. Okay, maybe it'll come up later in the thing here.
Yeah.
Tell us about your piece, Alfred.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to highlight me, I have it here in person. I can kind of show it.
Okay, go ahead and
Okay.
there you are.
Well, there it is. This is a piece of maple, and it's done on 3 different axes, and it was a lot of fun to do. You know, it's a candle holder. You know, it's as I said, it looks intimidating when you start doing stuff like this, but once you start getting into it, you know, you get more comfortable. And Barbara, thank you. I took a class with you at Arrowmont way back, and that was started me on these, you know, multi-axis turning. It was very, very fun, a lot of fun. Thank you.
That's a beautiful piece, and it's in the 4th quadrant. It's circular and twisted.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yeah.
and it's really nice. How tall is it? How tall is it?
It's about 6.5 inches, and
Right.
maybe 2.5 diameter at the base here.
Yeah.
One thing I made sure that I have really sharp edges here around here, and this piece down here was a bit critical that you know we have to go with very sharp acute angle tools so that not to. I just wanted to go inside without making too big of a V there.
Yeah. Nice job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, now we have this is Doug Scarf. Are you there, Doug? I seen you log in.
Yeah, I'm here.
Tell us about your piece.
Well, this is when I went to the retreat at Ron's house. Barbara spent a lot of time with me, and I just couldn't get this thing to work out. And I said, when I get home, I'm going to do one. And there, I finally got one. I kept mixing up the numbers. So this one has a twist plus 3 sides. It's going to be a pepper mill, but the big problem is when you separate the top from the bottom and you put it back together, you have to return it, even it all up. And I think that might be a real challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
but that's great. You got the numbers right on that one.
Finally.
Good.
Thank you for your help.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. I love seeing what you're doing. It's great.
Thanks, Doug. Okay, next up, I have Todd Sipple. Todd, I seen you sign in.
Yeah, so I had not done this before, so I tried to watch. It's my first meeting, so I tried to watch Barbara's lecture from last month. And the piece on the left was a goblet attempt, and as you can see, it's got a slanted top. So that kind of changed the axis for the bottom. So that's the reason it's not twisted on center properly. But I figured I'd see how it looked, and I wanted to try a goblet. And then the one on the right, these are both just the same piece of firewood. I lost the center a couple times. Like Barbara had said, you could blow it out. So then I had to glue a piece of hardboard on the bottom and try to redo it. And I also messed up the numbers as I was going. So I started to use permanent marker with different colors, just so I could go red 1 to red 1 and blue to blue and black to black. And it made it easier for me to follow.
That's great. They're really great first pieces. On the goblet, did you use the tenon to throw it off after you hollowed it? Is that what happened?
But I used it. So the tenon's still on the bottom. I haven't taken that off. So I turned the 3 sides first at 120 degrees from the top to the bottom, but it only did it that portion of the way.
I got you. Okay. Very good. And every time you make a mistake, you're going to learn it for the rest of your life. So my whole life has been learning from all my mistakes. So you're on the right track, and you did a great job.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Very good. And welcome to our club, Todd. I wondered when you logged in if this was your first meeting. So
yeah, first meeting.
Welcome aboard. Glad to see you participating.
Thanks.
Okay, next up we've got. Oh, this is me. I made 3 pieces. This was my practice piece from a piece of ash I had laying around, and I just kind of went straight across and then straight back to the top. Well, the top might have been offset. I don't remember now.
Yeah.
Offset.
Yeah.
And then this is my second piece. This is offset on the top and the bottom, and then I had a twist in the middle. It's hard to see the twist, but yeah, it's a third of a way twist. So that
Nice.
was
That's a
probably
nice piece.
Yeah.
like 13 inches tall. And then my last piece, this swirls around. It's hard to tell from the picture, but I did it from four spots plus the center, and I had it work around. As a matter of fact, I have that here. If you look at it this way, you can see that that it worked its way around. So I turned that one yesterday. I had a couple hours to spare, and I thought I'm going to turn one more. I was laying in bed thinking about that in the morning. You know, if I just did the 4, I think that would go really fast. And this is a piece of cherry. So those are my pieces.
Let me just say that once you understand how to think about it, look at all the variations of ideas that are coming up from everybody and things that I've never turned. So once you understand it, all this creativity comes and you find your own voice with it. Those are beautiful pieces. Very nice.
Thank you. So let's see. I see David Bunge has his hand raised. If you have some President's Challenge, raise your hand or put something in the chat, and we will I will get with you. Let's see. So I think David has his hand up now. So let's put him next. What do you got, Dave?
All right. Well, after the meeting, I basically found the formula.
For some reason, we can't hear you. You're really muffled.
Is this better right here?
No.
Can you hear me now?
No, you're like really muffled. I don't know why.
All right. Is that better?
Now it comes in really clear when it's like that. I don't
all right.
know why.
Seems like if I move my computer around, it doesn't work so well. So I made 3 candlesticks with the formula that Barbara gave us, the 120 degrees with the 60-degree offset. I made a maple, walnut, and cherry at 15, 12, and 9 inches. They look pretty good together as a group if I can get them all on camera. One challenge I had, I really was shooting to put that inflection point a third of the way down from the top, and I had struggled to get it there because I didn't account for how much you cut off the bottom when you parted the candlestick. So I kind of worked through that and figured it out.
Lean back. When you lean forward, you're all muffled.
How am I? All right. Well, I guess I'm also waiting to finish the maple one. You can see a really nice white piece of maple, and I'm experimenting a bit on what finishes will not yellow that maple. So if anybody's got good ideas on non-yellowing finishes for maple, I'd be interested to hear them.
I can tell you what I do because I like to use holly a lot because I just like to see the pure form without a lot of grain in it. But now I'm enjoying the grain. But I use a lacquer spray, a Krylon, and it seems to protect the wood. And these aren't functional pieces. I mean, you're not going to eat out of them. So that's what I've been using for my artistic pieces and candle holders.
All right, thanks. And then I did one other piece. It's a box, again, a three axes, 120, but no twist this time.
Yeah.
This was actually more challenging than the candlesticks just because it was larger. It's about 4-inch diameter, and I couldn't get my speed up above 600 without it starting to wobble. So that made it a little more challenging. And I could really see the advantage of what you were talking about, Barbara, with your weighted disc that you can counterbalance things with. Would have been nice.
Right. Thank you.
Yep.
Very nice. Okay, next up we've got Dave Curley. Show us your stuff, Dave.
Okay, am I sharing?
Yep.
Okay, so I didn't have a lot of time between this, but what I was trying to do with the 2 outer pieces was do 2 mirrored pieces. And as I mentioned earlier in the meeting, before everyone got on, I forgot how hard it was to make 2 pieces that are identical versus 2 pieces that are mirrored. So I did have some issues, and there's a lot to be desired or to be fixed on these pieces. And then the center one, I thought, I'm going to do, I guess, a crankshaft because that's what it ended up being here. It really was supposed to have a different pattern going on, and I was going to also try to do 2 mirrored ones, but I lost something along the way, and I just, that's what it ended up being. So I put a little, LED light in there, and we call it a candlestick. So that's all I have.
Well, that middle one, isn't that parallel circular? Aren't they parallel?
Yes.
And that's the quadrant I have the hardest time with because I can't find anything that I enjoy looking at. But I like that. But you're right. It's like a crankshaft. But you did a great job with it. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I do have some older images. These were from even actually before I knew of you. This, I think I knew of you. But some of these other pieces, I don't remember where I saw, multi-axis thing, but I'm sure it had something to do with you. But these were just experiments that I had done early on before I bought your book and knew that there was a method to your madness or to the madness here. So a few of these have multi-axis, a couple of them don't, but anyway, I did have some nicer ones that were finished that I believe are nicer to look at than the 3 that I had for the challenge. So I wanted to show those, redeem myself a little bit.
Very nice. I like what you're doing. Yeah.
Nice job, Dave. Next up, I got I got Tom S. Is that Tom Sampson, maybe?
It is.
All right, Tom, what do you got?
How's that? So traditional shape. I did the plug on the bottom. This is ash. I've heard some people call it olive ash for the staining. And happened to have a candlestick that fit right in there. I did the 3/4 inch hole, and I was thinking I would try pounding, doing a little metalworking, but had one that fit right in. So it came out pretty good.
Very nice.
Okay. Bruce, you got something, Bruce?
I do.
You're on.
Let me share a screen. All right, so I took the easy way out. I didn't do a twist. These are both 3-axis parallel. So I don't know what quadrant that is. I don't think in terms of quadrants anymore. But the walnut one I did about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And my dearly beloved's been bugging me for a salt mill. And so I just happened to have some nice curly maple, and I turned the salt mill to go with the pepper mill. And I took this shot just because I wanted to prove that that's what they were.
Very nice. Very
nice. Yeah. I love that curly maple.
So the challenge to make these, because the top rotates, is to make all 3 sides equal. So when you hand this to somebody that doesn't know what you did and they rotate it and they end up not with the grain matching up anymore, that the top piece still matches up with the bottom piece. And I've yet to get that really perfected. Oops, went too far. But so that the all 3 sides will match up. So Barbara, if you got some clues on how to do that, I'd appreciate them.
Well, I'll have to email you about that. You can use the tool rest as a reference bar, and if you use the tenon on each side for depth of cut, then it should take care of itself. But,
yeah, it should.
Right, yeah.
And then the other thing I want to point out here is the finish on this curly maple. I just used the Beal buffing system and did a buff on it. And to answer Tom's question, that won't yellow. That'll stay shiny and smooth, and it's actually a beautiful finish, and it won't yellow the wood. So that's mine.
Okay, very nice. I need to go back to my pictures because I realized I seen Elizabeth's note, and I did have. Let's see. I need to remove your spotlight and put one back on me. Spotlight. Elizabeth, is this speech you were talking about?
Yep, that's the. I think Aaron did that with 4 axes and a piece of flame box elder.
Okay.
With
There's
a
another
twist to it.
Very nice. Was there 3 of those?
Yeah.
Nope, that's your other one. Okay.
That's the candlestick again.
Somehow I start out in the middle of your pictures. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
So,
that's fine.
okay. So yeah, very nice. And is that yours or Aaron's?
That one's the flame box elder's Aaron's.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, now let's go back. I think let's see who else had one. Ron Campbell. You said you have a couple, right? Say something, Ron, so you move to the top of the room. Are you there, Ron?
Yep, I'm here, Doug.
There
You find me?
Yeah,
I get him.
I got him.
Here's some of the first ones I did. I enjoyed them. I don't know if you can see this, but that's dill, okay? And I thought I would add that. And then on this side is onion, and this side is sage. I have followed Barbara forever, and she's very inspiring. So I love her stacking, what I call stacking oysters. And I tried to make a big one and I broke it. So this is what I ended up with, okay?
Yeah.
These are called dildo-groots, okay? And these are the stacking oysters, and they broke in the middle. This is probably where it broke. I was working on it, and I thought, Jesus, I got all this work in it, and it's probably 8 inches of stacking oysters. This is what I call stacking oysters. So I went back in and started carving. Now this head is, the Cyclops head is added, and obviously the legs are added. And this one was carved out of what was left. So it was just something to play with. I had a great time making these. Took forever to hand paint every one of those little circles. So
Sure. Those are hilarious. I love them.
it was fun. This guy, I broke his legs. I'm going to have to go back in and make new legs for him. You know, after spending more time with Rebecca, I better understand now how to properly construct the legs.
Right.
Very
Great job.
nice, Ron.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody else have any multi-axis turnings that we can show here?
I don't see any more in the chat.
So Dave, I didn't cover this. Dave Curley, I didn't cover this earlier. Were you keeping track of all of our people here?
Yes, I was, Doug.
I'm glad to learn.
Oh, Dave.
So I have John Barons as the show and tell winner. And
okay.
Todd Siepel as a presidential challenge winner.
Okay, so John Barons. And then Todd Sippel. Well, congratulations, people. We have some winners there. So, thank you all for your wonderful presentations, and we want to thank Barbara Dill for coming back and commenting on these and helping us through our President's Challenge. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
You have a fun group. It was my pleasure. I love seeing what you're doing.
Okay. And you're welcome to hang out for the rest of our meeting here. With we got Walt Wager coming up here in a second. Hang on, I'm still writing down who won here, just in case Ken Blaine didn't get those. So I think that's everything, unless I'm missing something. And we're going to move on to our demonstration.